I cannot breathe. I don't know where they're going. I just know I woke up in this fucking truck.
That voice you just heard, that was Arcola, NBA YoungBoy's baby mother, calling out for help in a moment that turned deadly. And this isn't just one story. It connects to a chain of situations involving people like Tekashi, 6ix9ine, whose own mother was targeted, and Trey Tha Truth, whose daughter was taken after what should have been a normal drop-off. In this video, we're breaking down rappers who went through the unthinkable, having a family member taken by someone they knew.
Your girlfriend was killed and your baby was kidnapped.
Starting with Young Lay, Young Lay's story stands as one of the most heartbreaking cases ever tied to the Bay Area rap scene. On May 17, 1996, 17-year-old Daphne Marie Boyden,
knew my girl was gone.
Yeah.
You feel me? Gone.
an honor student and a brand new mother, was attacked inside her grandmother's home in Vallejo, California. She was shot multiple times, and then the house was set on fire in an attempt to cover it all up. As flames took over the building, the attackers walked out carrying her newborn son, just weeks old, Laya DeMar Williams, and disappeared into the night like nothing happened.
And guess what? He called me this morning.
That's what's up.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Neighbors reported seeing two teenage girls holding a bundle while smoke poured from the house. That was the last confirmed sighting of baby Laya for more than 6 years. At that time, Young Lay was locked up. He learned about Daphne's death and his son's disappearance from behind bars, completely powerless. No way to search, no way to act, just the painful hope that his son might still be alive somewhere out there.
He said, I have good news and I have bad news. I said, what's the good news? Because I'm already in jail, what can be worse?
And here's what makes it even more shocking. The people responsible weren't rivals or enemies from the streets. They were teenage girls. The main person behind it was 15-year-old Latasha Brown, Young Lay's ex, who had become consumed with jealousy after Daphne had his child. Reports say Brown had been telling people she was the baby's mother and may have been dealing with pseudocyesis, a condition where someone falsely believes they're pregnant. She didn't act alone either. Her cousin, Oceana Williams, helped carry out the crime, and even her own mother, Dolores Ann Brown, played a role in hiding the child afterward. For over 6 years, Laya was raised just 2 miles away from where his mother was killed, under a fake name, with fake documents, living a completely different life.
She said, your daughter Kamai was born at 7 pounds, 8 ounces. So I asked her what the bad news was. She said, your daughter was kidnapped. Well, as I knew about kidnapping, it only happened on TV and movies. It did a lot to me because I felt like I didn't do my job to protect her or Kamai.
The case gained national attention, appearing on America's Most Wanted and Unsolved Mysteries. Then finally, in November 2002, an anonymous tip led police straight to Latasha Brown, now 22 years old, who had been raising the child as her own the entire time. DNA testing confirmed the truth, and Laya, now 6 years old, was finally reunited with his real family. Brown was convicted in 2004 of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and arson, receiving 37 years to life.
I don't know, it was like breathtaking. Like, you know, I swear she looked to me like Shannara. She just looked beautiful.
Her appeal got denied in 2006. Years earlier, Young Lay had even named his 1998 album Unsolved Mysteries as a tribute to his missing son before the case was ever featured on the actual show. In 2026, a TV One documentary revisited the case and included his first public comments in over 25 years. All he said was that his son had called him that morning, and that said everything. Now take a second and really process this next story. 18 years, not days, not months, 18 full years before a father could finally hold his daughter for the first time.
Man, you just can't give up. You know, sometimes.
Kaya Mobley was born July 10th, 1998 in Jacksonville, Florida. Her mother, Shara Mobley, was just 15 years old. Her father, Craig Aiken, a local rapper, was incarcerated at the exact moment his daughter entered the world. Just 8 hours later, she was gone. A woman named Gloria Williams walked into that hospital wearing scrubs and a floral smock, blending in perfectly like she belonged there. She spent time gaining the young mother's trust, then calmly walked out carrying the newborn.
It was like 8 in the morning, and the U.S. Marshal said, we found her. We need you to get out here.
Staff assumed she was family, and by the time anyone realized something was wrong, it was already too late. Craig Aiken found out he had become a father, and that his daughter had been taken on the same day while sitting in a jail cell. He even asked the officer what the good news was. Not knowing what he was about to hear, Williams had recently gone through a miscarriage and was dealing with an abusive situation. Investigators say she took the baby to fill that void. She created fake documents, built an entirely new identity, and raised the child in South Carolina under the name Alexis Kelly Manigault for 18 straight years without interruption.
So about that, like, there's a lot of false narrative.
Then in January 2017, everything started to fall apart. When Kaya turned 18 and tried to get a job requiring official ID, Williams refused to provide it. That raised suspicion, leading to a tip that reached investigators. DNA testing confirmed the truth. She was alive, she was safe, and she was finally going home. Williams was sentenced to 18 years in prison in 2018. A request to reduce her sentence was denied in 2022. Craig Aiken later released a music video titled Self-Therapy, featuring his daughter as part of their healing journey.
Reality of it, right, is that it was somebody that lives in the community because there was no car that came in, no car that came out.
Their story even inspired a Lifetime movie, Stolen by My Mother, the Camilla Mobley story, taken within hours of birth and returned nearly 2 decades later. Unbelievable. Now let's talk about Trey Tha Truth, a name known across Houston for stepping up for his community again and again. He's the kind of person who shows up during disasters, gives back during holidays, and helps people without looking for attention. That's been his identity for years. But in 2024, everything flipped. The man who spent so much time protecting others suddenly couldn't protect the person who mattered most, his daughter. Trey had full legal custody of his 6-year-old daughter, Truth Thompson, after a long custody battle.
So yeah, I'm like really talking about how I grew up with my dad and just a lot of experiences that I've had.
Her mother, Heather Cuevas, only had limited visitation rights. On August 16, 2024, Trey dropped Truth off for what was supposed to be a normal weekend visit. He hugged her, kissed her, and told her he'd see her Sunday. Sunday came, and she never came back. Cuevas disappeared completely, left her apartment, abandoned her car, shut off communication, and vanished with the child. Law enforcement agencies across the country got involved, including the FBI and U.S. Marshals.
For the tragic loss of our son, Nathan Smith. His mother, Nicole Smith, and I are very much devastated.
Months passed with no clear answers. At one point, investigators spotted them in Los Angeles, but had to pull back for safety reasons. Through every holiday and every sleepless night, Trey had no idea where his daughter was or what she was going through. Then finally, New Year's Day 2025, early in the morning, Truth was found near El Centro, California, close to the border. Cuevas was arrested on child endangerment charges. Trey moved fast, headed straight to the airport, and traveled across California just to get to his daughter.
Yeah, everybody can unfollow me. I don't even really be on this page like that.
By mid-2025, Truth was back home, focusing on healing alongside her father. Trey shared that she now runs the household in the best way, bringing life back into his world. He even got her a goat, something that reminds him daily why he never gave up. Now here's a case that shook a whole city. Jamal White Jr., just 7 years old, taken in broad daylight in Milwaukee. On July 11, 2025, around 7 p.m., Jamal was riding his bike outside his home when a white Jeep started circling the block.
Like I said, I apologize for the ones who were genuinely concerned.
It came back again, then stopped. Two masked individuals jumped out, one holding a weapon, grabbed the child, and drove off fast. His father, Jamal White Sr., was nearby when it happened. Security footage showed him reacting in panic as everything unfolded. The situation quickly went viral, bringing attention, criticism, and concern all at once. He later explained, "I ran. I'm thinking they trying to rob me, not take my baby," showing just how fast everything happened. The investigation revealed the situation may have started as a plan targeting someone else. But when that failed, the suspects turned to the child instead, demanding money and valuables.
I cannot breathe. I don't know where they're going. I just know I woke up in this fucking truck.
Less than 24 hours later, Jamal Jr. was found safe about 7 miles away. Multiple suspects were arrested, including one teenager charged as an adult. The entire city had been on edge during those hours. His family expressed deep gratitude to the community for stepping up and helping bring him home safely. A terrifying situation, but one that ended with relief. And finally, Tekashi 6ix9ine. On November 16, 2025, 4 masked individuals forced their way into his Florida home. They entered through the garage, dressed in black, moving with clear intent. The first person they encountered wasn't him. It was his 60-year-old mother. She was taken outside and held at gunpoint while the group searched the home and took valuables, jewelry, cash, luxury items, everything they could grab. A direct hit, not just on property, but on family. They were gone before deputies even made it to the scene. His mother wasn't physically hurt, but situations like that leave damage you can't measure on any report. You don't put a 60-year-old woman through that kind of fear in her own home and expect everything to just be fine afterward. Tekashi wasn't even there when it happened. He was live streaming with YouTuber Jack Doherty while everything went down. Security footage later obtained by TMZ showed exactly how those 4 individuals moved through the house and how they handled his mother during the entire situation, step by step. Nothing unclear about it. By December 2025, 19-year-old Pedro Rodriguez had been arrested after investigators connected phone data and recovered stolen items directly to him. The charges stacked up fast: home invasion, armed robbery, false imprisonment, and grand theft. Then in February 2026, another arrest followed, while at least 2 more suspects were still out there. Now the big question people kept asking, was this tied to old issues? Was it connected to past controversies people online never stopped bringing up? Or was it something else entirely? The risk that comes with living loudly, showing everything online and letting millions of strangers watch your every move? Because when your life is constantly on display, there are always people watching closely, and not all of them have good intentions. Some see opportunity where others just see entertainment. But no matter what the motive turns out to be, one thing is clear. His mother had nothing to do with any of it. A woman who stayed out the spotlight, who welcomed guests into her home, who lived her life away from the chaos and still ended up facing a weapon in her own front yard on a quiet night. That's the real weight behind stories like these. Not the headlines, not the viral clips, but the impact on people who never signed up for any of it just because they care about someone in the spotlight. Now let's talk about Common, because this story doesn't get nearly enough attention, and it goes way back before he could even form memories. Common, born Lonnie Rashid Lynn Jr. in Chicago, was only about 18 months old when his life took a dangerous turn. His mother, Mahalia Ann Hines, suddenly found herself staring down a gun held by someone she knew very well. That person was Common's own father, Lonnie Lynn Sr., a former professional basketball player who was struggling deeply with substance issues at the time. According to Common's memoir, One Day It'll All Make Sense, his father had created a plan that didn't match reality at all. He believed that if he showed up to a tryout with a complete family, partner, and child, he could convince a team to give him a chance. So he forced that situation, taking them against their will and driving towards Seattle while under the influence. During that drive, he restrained both his partner and young child, acting on a version of reality that wasn't grounded at all. Common has said that his father, when sober, was loving, but in that moment, it was a completely different version of him behind the wheel. And the only thing keeping that situation from turning into something even worse was his mother staying sharp the entire time, calm, focused, and thinking ahead. At one point, she told him she needed medicine for a headache. When he stopped, she used that moment to turn the situation around, slipping something into his drink that made him lose strength quickly. He pulled into a motel in Wisconsin, and once he lost control, she managed to free herself and contact authorities immediately. Law enforcement arrived and arrested Lonnie Lynn Sr. on charges including kidnapping and false imprisonment. That moment ended any chance of the life he thought he was heading toward, but it also marked the moment that Common's future stayed intact. Common was raised in Chicago by his mother and eventually rebuilt a complicated but real relationship with his father over time. His father even contributed spoken word pieces to some of his later music, but when you really think about it, how close everything came to going a completely different direction before he could even speak, it's one of those stories that quietly hits hard. Now shifting to something much more recent, Lil Jon's son, Nathan Smith, also known as DJ Young Slade. That's Nathan Murray Smith speaking in one of his final public interviews. He was 27 years old, creative talent working as a DJ, producer, and artist, and a graduate of NYU's Tisch School of the Arts. At the time, a documentary about his father's legacy was in progress, and he had new music ready to release. Everything was moving forward. Then on February 3rd, 2026, early in the morning, Nathan left his home in Milton, Georgia, on foot without his phone. Police quickly issued a missing person alert, noting that he might have been disoriented and needed assistance. Search efforts started right away. K-9 units, community members, organized efforts, everyone trying to find him. At the same time, online rumors started spreading fast. Theories about conflicts, about targeted situations, about things that weren't confirmed at all. None of those claims came from law enforcement, and none had verified backing. Then on February 6, 2026, his body was found in a pond near the family home. Authorities stated clearly that no foul play was suspected. The medical examiner later ruled it an accidental drowning, with substances noted in the report. No kidnapping, no outside involvement, just a tragic situation that unfolded quietly, away from the noise people tried to attach to it. Lil Jon described his son as someone full of kindness, creativity, and warmth, someone who left a strong impact on everyone he met. He shared that during their last time together, they made sure Nathan knew how much he was loved and appreciated. And that part right there carries more weight than anything else people tried to turn it into. No kidnapping, no enemies, no hidden rivals, just a young man with his whole future ahead of him who walked out one February morning and never made it back home. Rest in peace, Nathan Smith. Now, if Common's story sounded intense, what Bizzy Bone went through is on a completely different level. This isn't just shocking, it's deeply disturbing in a way that stays with you. Bizzy Bone, born Brian Anthony McCain II on September 12, 1976 in Columbus, Ohio, was only 4 years old when everything changed. His mother's ex-husband, someone with no biological connection but far too much access, waited for the right moment. As soon as his mother, Roseanne Jefferson, left for work one morning, he made his move. He took Bizzy, he took his two older sisters, Hope and Heather, and then he disappeared with all three of them. What followed wasn't short term, it was over 2 years of captivity. Not weeks, not months, years. The man kept them moving constantly, bouncing between houses, apartments, and motels, never staying in one place long enough for anyone to catch up. And it gets worse. He manipulated them mentally, telling the children their mother was gone and never coming back. He controlled their reality completely, breaking them down emotionally over time. During that period, Bizzy also suffered serious abuse at the hands of people connected to the abductor, experiences no child should ever face, especially at that age, without even understanding what was happening. A large part of that time was spent on a reservation in northern Oklahoma, which made it even harder for authorities to track them due to jurisdiction challenges. But the way this story turns, it's almost unbelievable. In 1983, a babysitter watching the children happened to see a TV film called Adam, based on a real-life case. At the end of that broadcast, there was a missing children segment, and Busy's photo appeared on the screen. The babysitter recognized him instantly and made the call that changed everything. Authorities moved in, recovered all 3 children, and finally brought them back home. For years, Busy didn't fully speak on what happened. It wasn't until 2002, during an appearance on America's Most Wanted, that he opened up publicly, even thanking the show for helping cases like his and encouraging others to speak out. What's even more surprising, his own group member, Lazy Bone, said he didn't even know about the kidnapping until he saw that same TV segment. That's how deeply buried this story was. Busy later told everything in his 2012 autobiography, A Mind of a King. And when you listen to his music, the emotion, the layers, the intensity, it hits different when you know where it came from. Now shifting to something more recent, NBA YoungBoy's child's mother, Arcola. On February 24th, 2024, Arcola posted a video that instantly sent shockwaves across social media. It looked like she was trapped in the trunk of a moving car, complete darkness on screen, her voice filled with panic. She was saying she couldn't breathe, that she didn't know where she was going, and it sounded real enough to make anyone stop scrolling immediately. Even more intense, it seemed like whoever had taken her didn't realize she still had her phone. Within minutes, the internet exploded. Major hip-hop pages started reposting it. Fans flooded comment sections, and people were genuinely scared for her safety. The clip spread fast across every platform. But then, everything flipped. Later that same day, Arcola posted another update, calm, composed, completely different energy. She said she was okay and made it clear that people close to her already knew she wasn't in danger. Then a couple of days later, during a Twitter Spaces conversation, the full truth came out. She explained it was meant to be a prank, something that went too far and got out of control. Someone else in the discussion even called it out directly, saying it was childish and pushing her to stop putting that kind of content out, especially with so many people watching. And notably, there were no official reports filed related to the situation. A moment that looked terrifying at first, but turned out to be something very different once everything came to light. No arrests, no investigation, and no real connection to NBA YoungBoy's actual rivalries or any ongoing issues from start to finish. What started as one clip turned into a viral storm that spread way further than it was ever supposed to go. And the reason this story even opens the list isn't to drag it, it's to highlight something very real. The internet is already on edge when it comes to stories like this. The moment people think a rapper or their family is in danger, everything moves fast. No hesitation, no second guessing. And honestly, you can see why people believed it. The video felt real. The darkness, the panic in her voice, the detail about the hidden phone, it all sounded way too convincing. It hit every note that would make someone stop and take it seriously. Arcola herself has said she can act playful and over the top on camera. And before this, that image worked in her favor. But this time, it went way too far and got out of control fast. She walked away safe, which is what matters most. But not every story in this video ends like that. Not even close. If you made it this far, tap that subscribe button, hit like, and share this with someone who needs to see it, because these stories don't just sound wild, they're real, and there's more you need to hear.